Hey friends, I'm Otis Gibbs, and this is Keith Sykes. He's going to talk about his friendship with Jimmy Buffett.
Jerry Jeff moved to Key West in 1969. I helped him pack his truck because I used to stay at his house before I got my own place, his apartment, I should say. So I called Jerry Jeff up to say, tell me where to go or something in Key West, and he wasn't there, but his girlfriend was there. Murphy was there. And she said, if you go to this corner and ask for Ashley Simmons, you'll meet everybody you want to know in Key West. So I found the corner. It's a big, beautiful conch house. There's a guy sweeping up the courtyard there, a brick courtyard, just lovely, just Key West all over the place. And I said, is Ashley Simmons here? And he goes, who wants to know? I go, well, damn. I guess, I could be a serial killer, so there you go. I said, my name is Keith Sykes. I'm a friend of Jerry Jeff Walker's, and I just was, told me to come here. And Keith Sykes, I've heard of you. I'm Jimmy Buffett. And I said, I've heard of you. And so we kind of had heard of each other through Jerry Jeff because he told me about Jimmy Buffett when we were on a tour in Canada. Jerry Jeff did. And evidently when him and Buffett were doing something, he told Buffett about me. So that's how we sort of knew who we were. So from that moment on, we were just instant friends. I mean, it didn't take any time. There was zero time. Okay, great. Stay here. Put your clothes over there. All this kind of stuff. We're getting up 8 in the morning. We're going to go on this. We're going to go out to Mankeet and have an all-day party out there. And I go, 8 in the morning. 8 is it, you say? I didn't know it came 2 times a day. So anyway, I get groggy, I get up, and there's 6 boatloads of people going out there. And they'd saved up, pooled all their money to make this big 30-gallon vat of sangria. Put good wine in, all fruit that you can only get down in Key West. It's fabulous, all fresh and great. And put it in the chart room bar to chill overnight. And the cleanup guy came in at 6 a.m. and saw this garbage can full of stuff. And he pours it out. That's the shiniest, cleanest garbage can you've ever seen in the morning. Nobody had any money. And when we got out there, they had substituted the great sangria wine we were going to have all day. I think there was 2 or 3 watermelons and 2 gallons of PGA. So that was the sangria. And by noon, girls were water skiing naked in the ocean. I thought to myself, I like Key West. And this Jimmy Buffett guy has some good friends. And you know what? All those people I met, a couple of them have gone home now, but they're still close friends. We all just bonded that day. And that's where I met Fingers Taylor for the first time. I had no idea that Ray Raspberry knew Fingers Taylor. Fingers played harp with Jimmy. And of course, they were just playing hand-to-mouth here and there, because Jimmy wasn't doing anything. But when he got his ABC Dunhill record, Fingers went to record the record with him in Nashville. Of course, that record came out and it did good. But the next record they did, Living and Dying in 3/4 Time, had Come Monday on it, and that thing hit. It was actually a hit record. He must have eaten a dog. and so Jimmy just, kept moving up until he had Changes and Latitudes album, and that thing really did break everywhere. And Margaritaville. A lot of people hadn't heard of that song, but I'm proud to know that I've actually heard Margarita. As they say, it done good. I hadn't heard the album or anything, but he played in Memphis and at the Ellis Auditorium, and I just put a record out not long before that, and I took it up there to give to him, and he says, and so we traded albums that night. He gave me a kite. That was not, I don't know, I guess it's in my office at the Ardent now, but he signed my Changes in Attitude. We changed records, and on the next record he did, he cut 2 songs off that album I gave him. So I wish I could do that every year with some big star. But it worked out good to have Coast of Marseille and The Last Line on Son of a Son, because I knew it was going to do well because Changes had done so well. The record stores would have sold 1 million copies, and they did, just because it was Buffett's next record. I think he had a terrific talent, for sure, and understood his own limitations, for sure. and understood his greatness for sure. And did I say intuition? Because I meant to if I didn't, because he had great intuition, and he just sort of knew, and he could be around people and know where he would fit and who could help him or wanted to help him, and just took advantage of those situations. He did a couple of records, and I guess what he learned from those or gleaned from doing that was what not to do, and to get to where you can sell records and make a living doing that. So he just put a lot of things like that together. The first ABC record, did, I think it sold, his manager, Don Light, told me they did 80,000 records on that, which to me was huge for a folk singer, Of course, it's not much for a record company, but they believed in him. And then he came through with that hit, Come Monday. He wrote that by himself, man. I mean, you don't just kind of. So he's a great, great songwriter. That's one reason he hit. He wrote Margaritaville by himself, and Changes in That. He wrote 100 things by himself. But he also did a lot of great covers of songs that he believed in that he wouldn't necessarily have written. Like, I think the reason he did Coast to Marseille is because he didn't have anything like Coast to Marseille. Because in his words, I write the best Jimmy Buffett songs. Don't pitch me something. Don't pitch me a second-rate Jimmy Buffett song, man. I got that covered. So, and he would get frustrated with people pitching him that kind of stuff. It's just like, quit, But if you pitch him something that's like a great song, like Mac McAnally, It's My Job, those kind of things, it may not occur to Jimmy to write that or in that way or whatever it was, but he just picked up on those kind of songs. He did Alex Harvey's song, Willis Ramsey's song, all kinds of songs. But if you listen close, you'd see, well, that's not really Tin Cup Chalice, is it? Those things are different, but it fit. He made them be his in his arrangements and his style. And they worked well because of that. So I think Buffett just great intuition about when to do something and when not to do something. Great. And on stage, man, when he got that style on the third record, which is really his first record, his first ABC record, that's the label I'm talking about. He moved to Key West, and that sound kind of gelled around him, and he got, and he co-wrote some, like Cuban Crime of Passion is one of my favorite ones. He wrote with Tom Corcoran, and it's just work. Everything works in that whole thing to me. It's just a unique. That's the main thing. He had a unique sound, and it clicked with people. And when he came out on stage, this is in the middle of hard rock and on with hard rock and more hard rock, and just to hear something that's real honest about, not too soft, not too loud, just enough to draw a crowd, that kind of thing. And people were into it. The people who wanted to hear Eagles and stuff like that, that's the crowd that he picked off some of, or people that did like Peter, Paul, and Mary a decade before, like Jimmy Buffett, because it just wasn't ass-blasting rock all the time. And believe me, there's a ton of ass-blasting rock songs I love because they do blast ass, But for him and the artist that he was and the kind of writer he was, his style works. And it works for me, too, because, I don't want to every day hear rock and roll hoochie coo necessarily, or whatever it is, what song du jour. But that's part of his appeal, is he had his own thing, and he didn't try to be somebody else. Through all the mechanical songs of the 80s, the drums in a box and all this stuff, I experimented with everything. It makes me cringe today. He just said, screw it, this is what I do. Of course, he had a great big audience by then. But he's a standalone artist in a world full of imitators, and that's why he's a huge success.